Hello and welcome to the Counselor tutorial for transferring audiometric and impedance data between NOAA and Counselor. We'll start here in NOAA, then we'll choose a patient, and you can see this patient already has a record in place, and then we'll click on Counselor Synergy. The basic process with this module is that you, from one place, can either send the data from NOAA to Counselor, or if you already have the audiometric and impedance data in Counselor, pull it into NOAA, meaning you never have to double enter an audio or impedance results. The top half of the screen here shows you what is currently in NOAA. So here you can see we have a new audiogram for today, along with impedance data as well. Okay, so if you are using a NOAA compatible audiometer and or NOAA compatible impedance equipment, you could then send this data out to Counselor. If you enter the data directly into Counselor as you were testing, you would be able to click on the date of the visit and import the data into NOAA. Okay, so let's start with the first scenario where you have were working in Counselor on your case history, and then you went right into your NOAA compatible equipment, completed your testing, and now want to pull the data back into Counselor. So the process there was you would basically, Counselor will automatically select the most recent audio along with the most recent impedance data. And I should mention, by the way, these can be managed separately. So if you have a standalone impedance equipment, that's just fine. You can enter that manually. These don't have to go together. But you would basically say, okay, there is my, let's pick the new audiogram for today along with the impedance data. And you'd say, I want this data to go into this visit in Counselor. Of course, the dates match up because we've already placed our case history or created our case history in Counselor through the Counselor Insight feature and already started, created part of our report. So we want the audiometric data to complement that and all be in the same place. So we'd make sure that those are highlighted. If you don't have NOAA compatible impedance equipment, you would simply just ignore this section and focus on making sure that the audiogram and the date are selected. Now, I should mention that if you are not using Counselor to collect your case history and you have not created a visit yet for this patient, or let's say this patient isn't even in Counselor yet, that's not a problem either. In that case, this area would be empty, and you'd simply click Export, and as part of that export, it would, if the patient wasn't in place, would create the patient record and create the visit. Or if the patient record is in place, they have a profile, but they don't have a visit, it would then see that and create a new visit for them. So it manages all those scenarios seamlessly without you having to do a thing. Okay, but in this case, we do have the patient profile in place, we have the visit in place, we want to make sure this audiometric data flows in, so then we'll click Export to export the data. That will open up Counselor and bring over that data. Okay, so it takes us right into the audiogram screen where if we ever needed to, of course, we could edit this information. You certainly don't have to, but we also can review the classification because it'll automatically classify the hearing loss if you have completed 500 hertz through 4,000 hertz for air conduction. I'm sorry, 250 through 8,000 for air conduction and 500 through 4,000 for bone conduction. And then you can go ahead and make any changes as needed. Okay. Now, if you've just brought this data over, you certainly want to make sure you save this right away. You can click on any one of the buttons at the bottom of the screen. That will save your work. Same thing for the buttons here at the top. The most common one I would say is just to click Continue Main Screen. That will save your work and take you back to where you can continue on with that visit. Before I jump to that screen, though, I do want to mention that Counselor will bring over, your air conduction, your impedance data, your speech, your word rec, acoustic reflex, decay, MCLs, UCL, sound field, all that comes over from NOAA. The two areas that do not come over, and that is because NOAA does not manage that data, would be the otoacoustic emissions and the speech and noise testing. So that'd be like the QuickSend data. So those you would need to enter manually, and we'd be happy to work with you to find processes to make that as easy as possible, because there are multiple ways to do it. Okay, but let's say I brought over the data, I'm happy with this, I would then click Continue Main Screen. That, of course, takes me back to the main screen where I can see, the case history I've already been working on through Counselor Insight and part of the report that's already written. Then, of course, I can move right on to the patient counseling summary if I, of course, want to use that in patient counseling. So that would be the workflow if you had a NOAA compatible audiometer as well as potentially a NOAA compatible impedance equipment. Is you would start in Counselor, create your case history through Counselor Insight, do your testing through your normal processes through NOAA. Then you'd be able to export the data back into that same visiting counselor using the module, okay? And then you'd return back to the main screen to save those settings, and then you can access that audiometric data and what you've created for your report from anywhere. You're no longer tethered to that NOAA-based computer. All right, well, let's take the other scenario now. You've entered your data directly into Counselor while testing. Maybe you used a tablet, computer, or laptop or desktop. You've finished testing, and now you want to bring that data into NOAA. Maybe you want to do a demo or fit some devices. So in that case, once again, we'll go to NOAA. We'll open up the Counselor Synergy module. And if it was the first time this patient had had a hearing test, of course, all this area would be blank, right? Or if the patient had audios the last 3 years or something, then of course those would show up. But ultimately, you just look for today's date for the audio that's created, or whatever date it is you want to import. And then you would simply say, I want to take this data and I want to import it. And that will pull over that information. So that when you close this, if there wasn't an audio here already, or if it was an old one, it will then update it with the most recent data, and then you can move on to programming devices or whatever else you need to do for this patient. But essentially what we're looking at here is the Counselor Synergy module serves as that kind of middle point where you can decide based on what you need whether you're going to take the data from NOAA, send it to Counselor, or pull it in from Counselor. And that may change depending on your equipment, right? If you have a standalone audiometer and then you get a NOAA compatible audiometer, then your processes with this would change. So we're very happy to help you kind of work through this workflow and make sure it's as efficient as possible, kind of catch any errors before potentially they could happen. So please let us know if we can assist in any way. Just give us a call, live chat us, shoot us an email. We're always happy to help. So thank you very much for joining us for the Counselor tutorial on transferring audiometric data between NOAA and Counselor.